Well, now we move on to the next fireside chat on driving new synergies between linear TV and the digital ecosystem between Ms. Simran Hoon, Chief Executive Officer, The Q, and Mr. Anil Wanvari, Founder, CEO, and Editor-in-Chief, IndianTelevision.com Group. Over to you, sir.
Hi, Simran. How are you doing today?
Very good, Anil. Good to see you, and thank you for having me here.
You look dishy. I mean that as a compliment.
It truly is a compliment, and congratulations again for 23 years of the Indian television, your company being around for 23 years and being such an early bird in the entire ecosystem. And today we've seen so many people mushroom, and come up with platforms today. But it's really amazing that for 23 years today you built such a formidable group and a company and all the wonderful things you do.
Thank you very much for that, your kind words. But right now you've moved from sales onto a new challenge. I mean, you spent your life in sales, a lot of it, most of it actually. So, where you at? I mean, you're at the Q, but tell us a little more about the strategy behind the Q.
Sure. So, Anil, I know I spent about 27 years in ad sales with some of the biggest networks, whether it was Sony, with Star, with Z, and my last 12 years with Viacom.
Where you blazed a fabulous trail with some of the better leaders.
Thank you. So, but I think the biggest kick for me was that when I joined these companies that I just mentioned, it was at a very startup stage. I joined Sony Entertainment 3 days before it launched. I joined Colors 8 months before Colors launched, and I've always been part of startup teams. And I think what a startup does is it actually makes you roll up your sleeves and get into deep dive and jump into everything, not just the function that you're meant to be handling. So I think I had a very wide exposure to media. I was fortunate to be part of brands at a very early stage, at a very inceptual stage, startup stage, and they have become brands I'm so proud of today. So joining the Q, I think I was ready to take on the mandate of, leading from the front and, taking up a bigger mandate because I was exposed to all these departments. Like I said, part of my journey with the 4 big networks I work with. But what I found extremely fascinating about the Q was that, I think we are somebody who want to do something for the first time. I know it might be a cliched statement to make, but when I did meet my founders, Kurt Marvis and Sundar Aaron, one of the things that really resonated with them was that how are we going to be different? How is it that we're going to take this whole television business to another level? So the whole model of the Q actually is very, very unique. And I must say we are first, to do this. We basically pick up digital media content from digital creators and actually serve that on television, and particularly for the FTA audiences. And I believe those audiences are completely underserved. They've got, we've got channels from the bigger networks which run repeat programming, more in the soap opera, repeat episodes, more of the Saas Bahu. But there's an audience that is actually looking for differentiated content, and a younger audience which has actually moved away from television into other platforms. And because they're not getting the content that they really are looking for on television. So what we do is we basically, India being such a young population where the mean age is 28 years old, how is it that we can serve entertainment that is for young India, created by young India, for young India? So that's where the Q is very unique, while it's family inclusive, because we're talking about being available on linear TV. We also are available on, OTT platforms like MX Player, Chingari. We've also come on to certain connected TV platforms like Samsung Plus and on Xiaomi, on Mi TV. So this is how this whole proposition at the Q was very different and exciting for me to join, actually.
Fantastic. So basically what you're saying is, wherever a young person goes who's interested in this kind of content, he should be able to watch it.
Yeah, we are completely omnipresent. Absolutely. But television gives you that grandness. There is a certain credibility about television, and what the Q does is it actually, queues up, if I may say so, curates content which is actually available on digital platforms and serves that to you. Content that is like, meant for you. Content that you can resonate with without antagonizing the family. Because finally, we are also a single TV home. While we do watch it on our personal devices, but that's an audience that we are catering to. And particularly the free dish audience, because we look at, being available on DD free dish has been, I think, an amazing growth journey. We've seen all the big networks come on to DD free dish back in 2020. And as far as the queue is concerned, in many other channels have been on DD free dish, because there is this whole, tier 2, tier 3 towns, which is underserved on entertainment. And these are the need gaps that channels like us and many others are looking into.
Okay. So these people in tier 2, tier 3 towns, they consume this influencer-driven content using their phones. So
Yes.
why should they, and the young people especially, they're always on
Yes.
their phones. So why should they watch Q on DD Free Dish?
So there are options to watch. While it is available on television, we're in 100 million TV homes. You're in 700 personal machines. But there is a whole grandness that TV does offer. And today we're talking about connected TVs. I mean, connected TVs are also like maybe cheaper than mobile phones. I mean, like the smartphones. So we basically want to be omnipresent. You can catch me on TV. You can catch me on your device. So that's an offering that we're making. The delivery is not important, I mean, today everything is platform agnostic. Whether you want to watch me on TV and watch me on your platform, that's a choice that we give to the viewer. It's the content that we're providing them, which is actually something that they've not seen on something like television. And TV is 210 million homes. It's still got 50, 70 million homes to cover. So there is a whole thing of, watch me where you want. I'm digital first on TV, but I'm also digital if you want me to be.
So you have several partnerships with the influencer agencies and to get their influencer content onto television.
Yes.
Or you have partnerships with YouTube or with all the other Chingari, with Fast
Yes.
Foods, with...
Yes, absolutely. So like just to give you an example, we had a crime show that we launched about a month back, and we auditioned for that crime show in Chingari. So that's how close we work with platforms which are part of the ecosystem. And today it's a lot about collaboration. So, how is it that we can actually, amplify each other? And in our case, the kind of creators we get, the influencers, there would be a creator, who's on YouTube with maybe a 10 million follower base. One of our shows, Bucklol, the lead influencer there called Pankaj, he has 10 to 11 million YouTube followers. But there is a whole audience out there on television, an audience that hasn't seen him. So how we can amplify those creators, get them onto TV, and actually give those DD free dish audiences, and besides other places where we have great distribution, whether it's Tata Sky, whether it's D2H, or it's Hathway, or it's GDPL, or City Cable, and so many other networks. How is it that we can amplify that creator content who's already got 10 million followers? There's this whole audience that opens up to him of TV homes and other OTT platforms. So this is something that we, collaborate with a lot of influencers and do.
And what do you bring to the table for these influencers, apart from reach, apart from a television audience?
So I think everybody wants to be on television. It's like, people have dreams too. The bigger screen is always the bigger screen. So it's for them, that whole exposure that television brings them. It's also very commercially viable for them to come on from their, YouTube. It's an added platform for them. So I think the more reach, I think that's the biggest kick an influencer can get, to have more reach and reach out a bigger audience, because that's why they're influencers.
So this strategy of working, the GEC space, you've got retro channels, you've got channels which are having lots of reruns on DD Free Dish. Then you have the mainline GECs, which are running on the pay TV platforms. So do you think this strategy is really helping you cut through the clutter, or is it just adding to the clutter?
No, Anil, it all depends on the content you're providing. I mean, we are basically giving content which is not seen on TV. Like I mentioned, especially when we are obviously talking to the free consumer. And the free consumer, like I mentioned earlier on, is underserved when it comes to content. There are only a certain amount of channels that are available to them. But here there is an option of something different, something lighthearted. We work a lot on comedy. We work a lot on crime. Today, we're even bringing an OTT show like Ashram, which is on MX Player, and putting it on television because we believe that, a lot of people would have not seen that content. So I think today I believe the more platforms you are on and the more differentiated content you bring, it's I think amazing for the viewer. Catch me anywhere, anytime, everywhere, and with great content. And it's a virtual cycle. Great content follows, great viewers. Great content. You get a good amount of viewers. You get a good amount of advertising. So it's that whole virtuous cycle that we're talking about, and I think that's what propels people to churn out better content.
Okay, so you've got this smorgasbord of delivery mechanisms and places where you deliver to, right from television to OTT platforms, which you're serving, which you're also delivering, but you're also taking content from OTT and putting it onto television.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's a kind of a smorgasbord, and it's a good mix. It's a good it's like a, what do you call it? It's like a good ice cream mix. Okay, a good sundae that you're offering to people. To audiences. So what have the results yielded?
So we are going to be experimenting with Ashram for the first time, getting an OTT show on starting this Monday. We've got an incredible response from our viewers, from our advertisers, and we are internally also very gung-ho about it. Of course,
have you had to curate it? Have you had to, edit some scenes? Because Ashram is a little...
we did, because, we had to actually cut down from 18 episodes, 9 one-hour episodes, which we're stripping into 18 episodes. But we actually had to cut down one episode because all the editing that we had to do to make sure that it is, appropriate for an SNP'd for, the television audiences. So that's something we've been, of course, doing. And also picking up stories. I mean, we know the story of Ashram and, the whole, how it'll, we feel that it'll really do well in tier 2, tier 3 towns. So it's not that we will go and pick up any OTT content. It has to actually resonate with the audiences we're talking to, which is tier 2, tier 3 towns, and of course, Hindi. And of course, we have plans to go into some other languages in the near future.
Okay, that's great. But the Q is not just about this omni-channel. There are other initiatives that the Q has within its group. In India, in Canada, in Los Angeles, and India.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So our company is headquartered in Northern America. We have 3 big verticals. One is that we have the Q channel in India, and that's our first television foray. And like I mentioned, there are going to be some more that we'll be talking about very soon. They're under operation.
And development. Yeah, basically.
Development, yes. So we've got the Q India as a channel. We've also got a company, which is part of our company, called Chatterbox. Chatterbox is one of the leading influencer marketing companies in India. They have a huge amount of AI, where there are 350,000 influencers across India, where you can actually match the influencer with the area and the brand. So Chatterbox and us are also started to do a lot of integrated sales, where brands can actually look at influencers. We use the influencers channels, and we also use the Q India to actually amplify their big ideas. So that's the second part of our business. Like I mentioned, the Q India is the channel. Chatterbox is our social media influencer company. We've also got a big influencer business in America, in Northern America, which actually does a whole lot of tie-ups with brands and movies and gaming. So these are the 3 pillars of of the company right now, and we're actually looking at getting into a whole lot of other. We are like very nimble, and we want to be ahead of our time, and literally come up with anything that comes up, whether it's connected TVs. We've already started being available on Samsung Plus. We spoke about being on Xiaomi, because that's where we also see the future going. I mean, linear TVs become more of a virtual linear TV, because it's plug and play, and you can get. We talk about fast technologies, FAST, free ad-served streaming televisions, where people like Pluto and Roku and Samsung Plus, those revenues in the US are like doubling from 2.1 billion going up to 4.2 billion. The trend is happening in India too. Today, we talk about connected TVs being 5 to 7 million as far as the E&Y report, latest one, is concerned. And by 2025, we expect it to be 40 million. And that's a huge jump. That's where the huge jump is happening. So, well, I guess that's one of the reasons you're also having this summit and talking a lot about what's happening in the OTT and the connected TV space. And that's something that we are actually keenly looking at and very poised to be there with all that we're doing.
Yeah, so what is it that you offer advertisers?
So,
They were all talking about an omni-channel experience with the first session where we had this lovely lady, Dimpy Yadav from Zaxxas, coming and talking about the omni-channel. So what is it that you offer to an advertiser, to an agency, and why should they buy into the story that you're telling?
Sure. So first of all, Anil, we are just barely 3 months old. In the 3 months as in we came on to DD Free Dish on the 1st of April, and we just started our, we're a startup. We've just been getting our teams in place. What we can offer, what we do offer to advertisers, the kind of audiences we're reaching out to, because there's nobody else who talks to the audiences that we are talking to, which is young India, because all the other FTAs that I mentioned on television, the ones on DD Free Dish, have a lot of the soap opera, older content of the big linear networks. So we offer differentiated audiences. Also, those audiences, you can catch them on all the platforms that we mentioned. And the added benefit is how we add influencer marketing, how we add the marriage, the Chatterbox and the Q India app, how we do integrated sales for brands when it comes to influencer marketing on their channels, on their YouTube channels, and also getting them on television to amplify the whole proposition. So this is where we're unique and different to any other network right now.
So, I'm looking at your website. You've done stuff around Britannia Good Day. You've done stuff around Godrej. You've done stuff with Pepsi. So tell us a little more about what have you done with them in the last 3 months?
So actually, this was when we were a VOD platform. With ever since we've been on Free Dish, we are just starting off to our first few briefs to some clients. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be unveiled coming shortly, and we are just we're just starting off, but we've got big plans. But this is the offer we have for
Have you struck gold somewhere? Have you struck oil?
Almost, yes. We shall be talking about it soon because it's getting done as we speak. Yeah.
Okay. There are so many options. I understand you said you have a specific audience. Why should I buy into your audience? Tell me a little more about your audience.
So our audience very clearly is tier 2, tier 3 towns, underserved on entertainment, wanting to watch something. We do speak about digital India, which has really evolved, but there is so much of discovery of content where those audiences actually don't know what to watch. But there we are with all our intelligence and the outreach we have to social media influencers, how we can curate content that it becomes a destination for content creation, and that's a space that we actually want to own. And you'll see us doing a lot of stuff in the near future. We're a startup. We have got big plans, and we are moving really fast to make sure that you'll see a lot getting unveiled by us, especially in the social landscape, the social media landscape.
Yeah. So now you're taking up Ashram. Do we see more such initiatives coming up through your I call it a network. I know it's not a broadcast network, but it's an audience network that you built.
Truly.
Yeah. So do we see, does this open up newer ways in which content can travel and reach new audiences? Do you see yourself going to other OTT chats? But why should they sell you their shows unless they're a fast kind of a product? Fast, I mean free advertising serving.
Right. They're enough. There's so many OTT players. There's such a lot of great content available. And some of them are not part of bigger networks. So, for them to actually put their content on other platforms, because I think that's what every content creator wants. How many more people can see my product? How can I attract different audiences? And India being so fragmented, the kind of viewing habits too, if a OTT platform or a YouTube creator can get his audience, expand his audience, and that's the power that television has. We're talking, like I said, 210 million TV homes, still 50, 70 million homes to be covered. Television is powerful. And it's not that it's TV versus digital. Both the platforms have to coexist. It's TV and OTT, TV and digital, that basically can amplify and lead to a multiplier effect. So it's in their interest and in us too, to actually, get content which is superbly produced, serve it to an audience which is underserved on content. So I think it's a great win-win for everyone, including advertisers.
Okay. But do we see a lot of repeats happening in this case? In the sense, do you see other content also similar to Ashram coming on?
Yes, we have plans. We already have Ashram season 2 coming. That should be coming up in December, and in November we'll have another series coming in which we are just under discussion on from another OTT platform. Yes.
And in terms, these are pure syndication deals, licensing deals to you all, or is this a rev share kind of a deal?
No, they're pure licensing deals. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you seem to be a great believer in this concept of the omni-channels kind of a thing. So how can advertisers benefit with the combination of linear and connected TVs, especially since you're going the Samsung route, you're going the Xiaomi route?
So we are just, like I said, we are at the cusp of literally at the starting point of doing that. We haven't started really integrating the connected TV piece because we're putting our deals in place. I already spoke about 2 platforms we're on, but I think we're a little ahead of our time. I think another 6 months to 9 months is when we see the whole piece integrating totally. And like I said, we are poised to actually take that leap and be a little ahead of our time. So right now, a little early days for all that to happen.
So how do you envision it happening? I know you're saying, let's look at it from a media planner's.
I think connected TVs, of course, is going to be so well targeted, and there's going to be so much of contextual advertising. We were talking about how there's enough technology available with tying your mobile device with your connected TVs. And there is so many options for advertisers to actually, get that kind of targeting, which was not possible with linear TV. But when you talk about linear TV, I always call it like virtual linear TV, because linear TV is no longer going to be just what you thought it was. Finally, it's all going to be connected as we speak in some way or the other. Whether it's a Chromecast, whether you can mirror your image. I mean, today it's like it's so easy to actually be digitally connected with your TV. So I think that's something where the opportunity to do more programmatic, more targeted advertising, and those dollars obviously will be more precious and more valuable than a simple linear advertising dollar. So we really see that being a big scope in the future. I spoke about what's happening in the US, where fast is moving from like doubling year on year. So it's an area that we're also looking at, but early days for India. And of course, we're poised to take that, share of our pie. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you fare? How do you compare with the other free-to-air services in terms of, is there a value that you can add on to the a price value and also a service value that you can add on to what you're offering to advertisers and agencies?
So what we, when we did come in, it's not that we stole some GRPs from the other networks. We actually expanded the pie because, like I said, we were addressing viewers who are underserved. The young India had moved on from the available FTA platforms. So I think what we offer our advertisers is we actually grew the pie and got some of these audiences in. So what we offer the advertiser is like our tagline is Zara Hatke. It becomes a destination for creators, by creators, like I mentioned, and we do a lot of experimentation with content. We are going heavy on the comedy genre with influencers. We also have shows like Ashram coming in. We are experimenting a lot with a lot of creator economy formats. So that's, I think, what the advertiser looks at us as, not a typical GEC channel, but a GEC channel. And we live up to our tagline that says Zara Hatke, where we actually, believe in that in everything that we do, even in our content. So that's what we serve to.
But the audience, the youth audience, is pretty fickle because it's progressing so fast. That's what Channel V also discovered. That's what MTV is also discovering, that they have to keep on reinventing themselves regularly.
Yes. So that audience of MTV and Channel V had actually moved on to digital, right? So, and that's something that we actually bringing back on television. And, and like I said, it's not television. It's television today is, you can watch it anywhere, anytime on any device. So if that TV is now just become like a platform for you to serve content, but we are available everywhere. That is our proposition for the young audience.
But you didn't answer my earlier question, which I asked you about, what is the extra, are you able to attract a price differential compared to other free-to-air channels?
Yes, we can. We do, because that audience, like you said, is so fickle. So to catch that audience which is kind of moved out of watching television, there is a premium that anybody wants to pay for that content to reach out to that audience. So I think a price point, if you're referring to that, yes, we do sell ourselves at a premium. We do.
Okay, one case study. Tell me of one successful. I know you're saying watch the space. What's the space? I want to know about one advertising case study, one advertising partnership, or one.
I will be able to tell you this next week, because it takes a long time to do, long time, as in we've been around for a short while, but we are in process. But I mean, I'm sure when we do this, you'll be one of the first people, because you've been pushing me for this now, to call you and tell you that this is what we've done with one of our
especially using the omni-channel kind of a strategy.
Yes, it will be.
Because what happens is, in most cases, apart from the broadcast networks, you have OTT, but you may not have the connected TV piece over there.
Yeah.
You're offering, you have OTT, you have television, but you may not have the connected TV piece.
So we are, like I said, available on connected TV, but we're obviously not serving specific ads on it right now. But the case study that you're talking about will be actually very interesting, the one we're working on, because it is with a digital company, if I may say so, without giving away anything more, and how the 3-4, of like the pieces, how they'll all come together to actually amplify the proposition on TV, on digital, with influencers. So it's just, if you had this session 2 weeks from now, I will be able to tell you more.
Fantastic. Congratulations, and wish you all the best, and the promoters as well. It's been, I mean, I've seen Sundar, for many years, from the time when he was at Sony, and, wanting to build something, and finally Kurt, and then you also have Andy Kaplan coming in as the chairman of the India company. He's another great India believer, running Sony for so many years out of Los Angeles, out of Culver City. So it looks like you're building up a good team.
Scott Patterson as one of our biggest investors too. So.
Yeah, and then you're building up a bigger team, right, on sales, or is it going to be what, 20 people, 30 people?
Oh no, we are just 7 people right now, but we are like lean, and we will build up the moment we launch. We'll be looking at launching another channel in the first quarter of next year, and of course doing a whole lot of integrated sales that we've been talking about with social media influencers. So very lean team right now, but yes, we're expanding. We hired a marketing head, 2 months ago. We have a distribution head who came 2.5 months ago. We got a kick-ass programming team, getting more people in. So we are like really at the, really growing our numbers too. Yes.
And hungry to offer advertisers solutions. At the end of the day, content for content's sake, unless you're pay TV service, it doesn't work.
Yes, absolutely. That is what we're going to be doing too.
Thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure talking with you. I don't see too many questions, because I think you're so lucid and clear about the way forward that nobody's asking any more questions. Thank you.
All that you asked me, I may not be able to give all the answers away. So we can always ping me on simran@theqindia.com, and any questions you have, even after this session, I'd love to answer any of your
questions.
Simran@theqindia.com. I'll just put it on the chat too. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and all the best to all of you and your entire team. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to put my email ID on the chat. So yes, that's me.
Fantastic. Great.
Great.
Thank you, and all the best to you.